Smiles Television Talk Show. When you come back, welcome back to Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Anthony Miles, and I'm just grateful that you decided to tune in again. Today, I am very honored to be sitting with a dear friend and an individual who has some genius ideas for you. As a matter of fact, he's founded an organization called the Urban Genius Foundation. Yes, if you're interested in starting your own business, or if you have an idea already in place for a business, this young man may be able to help you see that to fruition. His name is Kenneth Cole, the CEO of the Urban Genius Foundation. Stay tuned for more smiles, and don't forget that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. He was crucified, and he was buried, and he rose on the third day. Confess that he is Lord. Believe it in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, and thou shalt be saved. That's what the scripture says. Stay tuned for more smiles. Oh, you caught me reading my Monitor newspaper again. I try to read my Monitor newspaper as often as I can because the Monitor newspaper in East St. Louis, Illinois keeps us abreast of activities going on in our families, with our friends in the state, the country, and even the world. We support the Monitor because they've been in business since 1963. They know the newspaper business. Support the Monitor newspaper right here in East St. Louis, Illinois. Now let me get back to reading my Monitor newspaper.
Let Heyzues Productions help you with your production needs. Commercials, weddings, music video, or events. Need your book or play converted for the big screen? Heyzues Productions can help. For more information, please visit our website www.hyosaproductions.com or give us a call for a free consultation. Join the video revolution.
Welcome back to Smiles Television Talk Show. I'm sitting here with a dynamic young man, Mr. Kenneth Cole. Yes, a fellow classmate of mine from Bradley University. Bradley produced some great minds, some genius minds, as a matter of fact. Kenneth Cole is the Chief Executive Officer of the Urban Genius Foundation. And their purpose is to raise capital with the purpose of finding minority entrepreneurs with innovative ideas that have the potential to change the world. Mr. Cole, thank you for coming to Smile.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
Yes.
You drove all the way here from Chicago, Illinois to be on Smiles Television.
We were looking forward to being on your show.
It's just great. You know, Kenny, I have been reading and saw a lot of the background on the Urban Genius Foundation. And I just gave a little bit of information about it. Start off and tell us again, if you will, what is the Urban Genius Foundation?
Well, as you mentioned, we raise capital for minority entrepreneurs. But what we also do is help them with the process of being an entrepreneur, because what we found is that in many cases you have a great idea, but you don't really understand what it takes to bring that idea from idea to launch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Have you had much success in encouraging others or in sponsoring others to go on to launch their...
Absolutely. But the biggest impediment to anything we do is raising capital, mm-hmm. which is why actually we created the Urban Genius Foundation, because even while we were doing Business Birth, our company to really do the consulting work for the entrepreneurs, we couldn't raise capital for the various projects. So we said we need a grassroots effort and a foundation to raise the capital. So when someone comes in with a great idea, we can actually help them with the funding of that idea.
You mentioned something. You said business birth, and that's something that I had not introduced to the audience. Tell our audience, what is business birth?
Business birth, we love business birth because what it does is that it incorporates a lot of, or really everything that you really need, the steps from, oh, I got a great idea. You know, when you wake up that morning, I got a great idea. Now, how do I make it happen?
Mm-hmm.
So at Business Birth, we have consultants. We help you with deciding and understanding what an LLC is as opposed to just incorporation. We help you understand prototyping. We understand how to manufacture your product. We bring you the critical resources to take your project or your idea to a business.
While reading on your website and different pieces of literature that you have, I read on there that you said you believe that genius has no ethnicity.
Absolutely.
And why is that so unusual to think that there is a difference in the genius among people?
Thus the need for Urban Genius, the Urban Genius Foundation. When you go through history and you look at this whole thing of geniuses, Einstein, just, I can't think of any of them right now, but yeah, I get it. When you go through the history, you know, they didn't have a certain ethnicity. They were all over the world, all over places, yet here in the United States, when you talk about funding for urban genius or urban entrepreneurs, that funding does not seem to come into our community. 2.3% of the SBA loans last year went to minorities. 2.3%.
Wow.
And that includes white women, Asians, East Indians. It included them all. So we didn't get much funding. In Chicago alone, you have $1 billion that came through Chicago in 2013, and none of it went into the black community, the African American community, to fund entrepreneurs. So somehow it's just not happening.
You know, right here in East St. Louis, Illinois, our community is approximately 99.9% African American.
Right.
And we have been fortunate enough to have a lot of per capita, percentage-wise, a lot of people who come out of here and seem to succeed and do very well. We have ambassadors for here, from here, athletes and what have you. But there are a lot of people who have ideas for businesses, like you say, and it just doesn't seem to take that next step. So would you suggest that it is a matter of the funding? That's the bottom line? Quite possibly?
It's a matter of that, and it's a matter of focus. Tell me in the history of African Americans in America when there's ever been a focus on us as entrepreneurs, ever. And because of that, we're not looked to.
Well, a matter of focus, meaning from other people on the outside focusing in
Or
on
even-
us, or from our focusing on what we want to do?
Both.
Okay.
Absolutely both. Tell me when, you know, you see, I mean, there are tremendous organizations out here that are fighting for jobs. There are tremendous organizations out here fighting for a lot of other things. Name me one organization that you can say, okay, this organization in their heading is fighting for the urban entrepreneur. Name me one.
Okay. If you had to tell a young man who has an idea, he has a great genius idea, and he wants to start his business, take him from that initial step to the end of it, if you will.
Yeah. The first thing I would tell him is if he doesn't have a job, get a job. If he has a job, keep his job. Because what happens in many cases is that it's just like the body with blood. If the body does not have enough blood, it just dies. If you don't have enough capital, you're just going to die. You don't want to drown pursuing this idea. We have this misnomer that what's going to happen is that we wake up with a tremendous idea, and it could be amazing, but it's going to happen overnight. So the first thing they should do is to understand that it's going to take time. And they need to acquire patience. Okay, that's the first thing. And then they need to utilize the internet to start getting information and resources together. They need to build a roadmap and a plan. And then they need to come to places like Business Birth and Urban Genius so that they can figure out what resources are available to them. And then the next thing, one of the things I always tell people, and this is very debatable, highly debatable, share your idea with strangers. Don't share your idea with friends and family because they're going to give you that kind of false sense of it's the greatest thing in the world, so you're not sure. So what you want to do is to share it with strangers and see what kind of feedback. And then the most important thing I can tell you is go to businesses that would use your product and ask them.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes at a time.
Okay, tell you what, we need to take a quick break.
Okay.
But during this break, I would also like to show maybe some clips from your website to show some success stories. Don't go away. We're going to come right back with Kenneth Cole, who's the CEO of the Urban Genius Foundation. Stay tuned for more Smiles. Don't go away.
Intellectual property. I have been working on this project for the last 5 years and was recently awarded a patent, a utility patent, in the spring of 2013.
You can make appointments via telephone. You can see how your hairstyle that you want, how it's going to look on you before you even get to the barbershop. You can sell your products.
First interactive children's book. It's called Zig Zag Zoo.
Welcome back. I'm sitting here with Kenneth Cole, the Chief Executive Officer of the Urban Genius Foundation. He has some great tips for you in terms of how you may want to pursue your business ventures. Kenneth, before we left, we were talking about people who have a mind to do some things and how to take them from one step to the end of their idea. I understand you have a platform or some tips that can really help. Why don't you share that with our audience?
Well, we like to mention the Urban Genius Foundation as a hub for minority entrepreneurs. And what we mean by a hub, we are building a platform so it becomes the single source for funding and marketing for minority entrepreneurs. So what that means is that right now, a lot of us, we're transfixed with this idea of crowdfunding because that's the big thing out there. But what we don't understand is 95% of us that go on crowdfunding, Kickstarter and other platforms, we're not getting funded. So what we have done at the Urban Genius is to create the Urban Genius crowdfunding part of our platform.
Now, is that similar to like GoFundMe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and continue to share.
But it's kind of like, and some of your younger audience won't understand this analogy. It's kind of like the reason why we needed Soul Train when Bandstand was already there. You actually.
I don't know anything about Soul Train. That's your age group, dog.
Right. So we have the crowdfunding component to what we do, but also we have Genius TV, which is to produce shows showing these amazing ideas from the entrepreneurs, and also we have the Urban Genius magazine, which is a digital magazine that's on many that's on the digital platform Magzter, which is spelled Magzter. You can find the magazine there. It only costs $1.99, and it only costs $1.99, and that's where you find a lot of the tips that we're talking about. You can find information, and if you're part of our platform, that's where we promote you. That's where we market you.
Oh, okay. You know what? Lately in East St. Louis, Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis, Missouri, and within St. Louis, Missouri, in that area, you have Ferguson, Missouri, and we know what's going on and how bad things have been in terms of the riots that have occurred in the area. A lot of businesses were burned down. A lot of people are lacking right now as a result of the riots that occurred. Can Urban Genius help businesses over there?
Absolutely. Let's just say if there was Urban Genius Ferguson, what we would be doing there is very simply is helping these young urban entrepreneurs with these amazing ideas get started. There's so many things that you can do. You can start a business setting up to pick up the debris, to clean up. You can start a business that will help the business owners set up their business, how to get their insurance forms done. There are a myriad of of opportunity in the Ferguson area. But we started to focus on the lack of jobs, the loss of jobs, and things like that. And I will tell you, I will give you this number regarding jobs. We have not netted any jobs in this entire economy in 10 years.
Wow.
There's not been a net gain.
Do this for me. Let our audience know how they can get in contact with you. There may be somebody who wants to call you to get started.
Yeah. Go to start off with our website, www.ourUrbanGenius.org. You can also go to the magazine that's posted on the digital newsstand, which is www.magzter.com. My phone number is listed there. On both of those places, you can go and you can contact me, and that's how you can get started.
And we'll show that a couple of times during this broadcast. But I want to shift gears just a little bit. We went to school with Freddie Luster.
Yes.
And of the Luster products, the foundation there. Tell our audience, you just recently had an interview with him or a meeting with him. Tell our audience about his company and your relationship with him.
Luster Products was started 57 years ago in Chicago, and by Fred Luster Sr. He started an African-American personal hair care products company after he was as part of a steel strike, and he found that he had this talent of cutting hair, so he did it for $1. Next thing you know, his children took over the business around 89 or 90, and they're a multi-million-dollar business, and the Lusters were gracious enough to sit down with us. They're on the cover of our next magazine. They do a phenomenal job, and if you really want to understand how to go from an idea to a corporation, I would get pen and paper or tablet together and sit down and listen and watch their interview. It is a master class on African-American entrepreneurship.
You know, we won't have a chance to show the entire interview here, but I would like to show just a little bit of it. Stay tuned and watch this video. May give you some great ideas.
Luster Products is Black-owned and, for the most part, operated, although we are diverse.
We went from having managers to needing engineers. We went from having...
Aspirations of my dad was to employ people, give people opportunity in the community. So by doing that, we're able to employ a lot more people than, say, we would have had it co-manufactured somewhere.
It is absolutely wonderful watching a company that's been in business that long, and it's a minority-owned company. You know what, Kenneth, you guys have a great idea, the Urban Genius Foundation. There are many geniuses among us. Once again, tell our people how you can take them step by step to help them see their dreams.
First thing is to call us. Call us. And then we'll counsel you. We'll talk to you. We'll hear your idea. We'll mention the things that you need to do. And we'll say, okay, well, this is a great idea. We might say, well, we don't feel so much that it's a great idea. But what we will do is walk you through the steps. What is it going to take your idea? Such as prototyping, such as what it takes to get your IP, your intellectual property done. Those are critical steps to launching your business that we'll help you with.
And you know what? I understand that you're very strong on community. You really want to help build a community. Share with our audience your heart in that effort.
Let me say this, community. We are building a $10 million fund for the community, by the community. So your donations is what allows us to fund your amazing ideas. That's what we're all about.
You know, a lot of times people have great ideas, and from childhood even, and sometimes they're not nurtured. Sometimes they're not encouraged. What would you say, or how can your organization help even encourage the youth?
Because we're geared towards helping. We don't care if you're 60 years old and you have an amazing idea. You can be 8 years old with an amazing idea. What does that have to do with it? We want you. We can help you We can help move the 8-year-old. We can help move the 60-year-old with their amazing ideas.
And I have to say this, I was really, really thrilled that you used my daughter's oil painting. Now, she's not trying to start a business, but just the fact that she was acknowledged and that her work was considered good enough to use for your one of your publications.
Absolutely. It was a great picture. Miss Miles posted it on Facebook. We saw it. We said we love it. We contacted her, said, can we use it? And she said, absolutely. So it was a great picture.
You know, I want you to one more time give you a website because you can't say it enough. This is a short broadcast, and we don't have enough time to tell everything that we want to, but we want to make sure they get the best information possible. How can people make contact with you again? Sure.
www.ourUrbanGenius.org, and through our magazine, that's available at www.magster.com, and Magster is spelled Magzter.
Kenny Cole, thank you so much for coming to Smiles Television Talk Show. And I usually ask my guests if they would come back because we had them on tape. Would you come back?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You heard that. He said he'll be back,
Absolutely.
and we have him on tape.
Yeah.
And you'll be back as well, won't you? We want to thank you. Thank you, Kenny, and thank you for joining us on Smiles Television Talk Show. Tune in every Monday at 11:30 a.m. on Charter Cable Channel 191. And again, if you can, on Charter Cable Channel 984. Keep smiling. You look better when you smile. And remember, only what you do for Christ will last. And Kenny, thank you again.